Do you realize, beautiful humans, that you and you alone are the scriptwriter, the actor, the director, the costume mistress, and the producer of your own life? Do you realize that? Do you realize the enormity of that fact? That has been hitting home for me in a way that I don't think it ever has before. I realize that if I don't like the dialogue, if I don't like the scenery, if I don't like what's happening in my life, the person who designed it is right here. I am here. I can't pretend that someone else did this. I'm not saying, and remember, I've told you this many times, that Pop used to say to me once, baby girl, you think you got it all figured out? Well, life's going to come whoop you upside the head. Well, yes, of course, that's going to happen. And more than likely, there will be things that happen to you that are not presently under your control. Of course, life happens. That's part of I think, the excitement and the challenge of it, that things happen to us. And then we have to figure out how to negotiate our way through it, manage the way through it, walk straight through it, because jumping over it, you're just going to do the lesson again. So, what I've realized is that we have so much more power than we think we do. We think that things happen to us instead of that perhaps they are happening for us. And if they're happening for us, well, then we need to embrace the happening, don't we? We need to embrace it. We need to think, thank you. Thank you for this, because this gives me an opportunity to use this gift of mine to open up this box of goodies that I've never used before. But what I want to emphasize with my own realization, that no one but us is in charge of our mind. I have had, in the past several months, moments of such extreme anxiety that I wanted to crawl out of my skin. I mean, we're talking, I could feel this bubble of anxiety coming up in me. And I didn't know what to do with it until I figured, wait a minute. No one is injecting this into my mind. That did happen one time, but that's a whole other video. What happened is that I realized I control my thoughts. I can take this to the blackest, darkest extreme. I can pretend it's not there. I can be Pollyanna and say everything's going to be fine. I can say this is not happening to me, this is happening for me. And when it's just too much for me to stomach, and that's usually where it hits you, in the gut, right? You can say, wait a minute, what can I do right now? I'm going to give you 3 things that I have done, which allowed me to extract myself from this rising tide of desperation. And one was to change temperature. Yeah, you could fit yourself in the freezer. I don't know if that would work, but right now I'm living in New Jersey, and because I'm living in New Jersey, New Jersey is, of course, very cold right now. So I go outside and I go into the cold. And when I go into the cold, even just sticking my face out of the window helps me, because the extreme difference in temperature is a shock to the system. So if you are living in a place that doesn't have snow and extreme cold, then you can suck on an ice cube. You can have an extremely cold drink. You can put a cold compress on the back of your neck or on your forehead or on your wrists. So change temperature helps me. I'm not saying this will help everyone, but it certainly has helped me. The second thing I do is I change my breathing consciously. Consciously. Fortunately, most of the time we don't have to think about breathing, do we? We have an autonomic nervous system, and that nervous system takes over, and you just breathe. But when anxiety is rising, you need to breathe very consciously. And at that point, what I do is to breathe in for a very slow count of 3. Hold it a little at the top, and then release it for a 1. Release it for 5. So inhale for a slow count of 3, and then release it for a longer count and slow count of 5. That switches the anxiety that is rising and closing off the feeling of breathing. And this changes because it relocates the breathing down to the control of the abdominal muscles, which is helping the diaphragm fill your lungs with air. And finally, the third and final key to stopping the rising anxiety is to move in some way. For me, it's dance. For me, it's dance. I've told you this story before, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm Audrey, a Firestone speaker, author, coach, and I'm always discovering new things. And so when I discover new things and ways of dealing with life, with intensity and with authenticity, I'm always sharing it with you. So the third key is to move in some way. So I had a back problem that I felt the lower back was spasming, and I just felt awful. So I went to PT, and it really, really helped me. And then I thought to myself, well, you're going to go to PT, you're going to feel better. And then you're going to stop doing exercises. And guess what? You're going to be exactly back where you were before. And I thought, well, is that what you want? After all that work, is that really what you want? And my answer was, of course not. That isn't what I want. So in that case, I said, I'm going to start walking. I'll start walking in the morning. I'll start walking whenever I can. So I started walking, and then I thought, oh, this is boring. Gag me with a gargoyle. What can I do? Music in my ears, and start dancing. And that's exactly what I did. I started dancing. And what's beautiful, you guys, is that not only have I come back home energetically to myself, I dance every single day out in the parking lot. Take the farthest reach of the parking lot and dance in the snow. And I don't care if it's snowing, and I don't care if it's 90 degrees, doesn't matter. I'm out there and I'm dancing. So that is a way for you to move your body. Do yoga, do Tai Chi, do dance, do something that moves your body. So you have, first of all, changed temperature. Changed temperature. For me, it's cold. I don't know that hot would have the same effect. So for me, it's changing cold air on my face, ice cubes in my mouth. I'll put an ice cube all over my face if I need to, whatever I need to change the temperature. Secondly, is consciously change your breathing. Consciously change your breathing. And I said, breathe in slowly, nice slow count of 3, and breathe out for a count of 5, and do that at least 3 or 4 times, even 5 times. That is a beautiful thing to do when you wake up too, because it awakens you. It awakens your brain and your nervous system, and everything is alive and ready to meet the day. And then finally, the third thing is to get out and move in some way. Be it yoga, be it dance, be it Tai Chi, do whatever you need to do. And by all means, listen to music, because music is heaven. Music changes everything. Well, for those of you who don't know me, I spent 4 decades of my life doing that, and now I've spent more decades teaching it. And what's funny is when I started dancing again, I wanted to sing again, and I do. And it's wonderful to come back to the melody of life. And remember, it's our melody. We get to choose. We get to choose what we do with it. So those 3 things will help you with anxiety that rises when you have the realization that you are the scriptwriter, the costume designer, the lighting person, the director, the actor, the producer of your own life. Because that realization, for most of us, society has tried to train us to make us palatable and manageable. So we don't realize how powerful we are and how much power we have. So the minute we realize how much power we have, it can be, for some of us, it certainly was for me, very anxiety producing. Because I realized, oh my goodness, I have all this power. Now what am I going to do with it? So understand that not only is it power, it's a privilege. It's a privilege to have that kind of agency over your own life. Over your own life. It's an extraordinary gift. Don't waste it. Don't listen to society and sit down and be nice and be quiet. Learn how to say, no, I won't. This doesn't feel good. I'm not going to do this. Darlings, wake up. Wake up. It is never too late. It is never, I promise you, never too late for you to wake up, take your life in your hands, and say, this is mine. This is mine to do with as I choose. Connect yourself to the energy of the divine, that you are part of that. Connect yourself to that and let that guide and lead and allow to blossom your authentic self. You'll be shocked at the magnificence of you. You will be stunned at how powerful, how utterly lovable and magnificent you are. I leave you with those thoughts, with 3 keys to help you through the anxiety of realizing what a powerful being you are. Take that to your heart. Audrey Firestone, speaker, author, coach. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing your precious time with me. Subscribe to this channel. hit the bell so you get notified when I do another video. I'm back to doing them every week. So again, I say I will see you later, alligator.